What's good, people? We back with another video. The NFL draft has come and gone, and now it's time to react to what happened. Now, in this video, I'm just going to be reacting to the first round. I will be making a video reacting to the entire draft classes of each team, but given how I made a mock draft on the first round only, I wanted to react to the first round only before I did that. So let's get right into it. The first 4 picks, obvious. I'm giving them all A's. This is what I would have done. This is what I had in my mock draft. So I'm fine with these. Don't really have to go in too much detail in any of these. So where the opinions start flowing, it's the 5th overall pick with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I have Ja'Marr Chase as a C. Now, let me preface this because Ja'Marr Chase is an incredible player. You know, Justin Jefferson last year had 1,400 yards in his rookie season. Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase, better prospect than that guy. So let's just start out by saying Ja'Marr Chase is an incredible talent. This C grade has nothing to do with Ja'Marr Chase. It has everything to do with the fact that the Bengals drafted Joe Burrow last year. One of the best quarterback prospects to come out in a while. He got hurt last year. He tore his ACL. You know, I mean, I don't know what more I got to say that I haven't said already. They need offensive linemen. Like, I mean, I kind of want to pull up their depth chart real quick. On Our Lads, one of the best sites to go see the depth charts for teams. So, okay, Jonah Williams at left tackle. He's a top, I think he was taken 11th overall. But we're going into his 3rd year now, and we still don't know what he is. He's been consistently hurt, hasn't played a ton. He could be as much a bust as he could be a surefire pick. We don't know yet. Now, they did take Jackson Carman in the 2nd round. I'm not too high on this pick. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be bad or anything, but you passed on guys like Tevin Jenkins. You passed on guys like Sam Cosmi, who I had going in the 1st round. Are you that convinced that Riley Reiff can be a stalwart right tackle for you? Like, Riley Reiff was on the Vikings last year. The Vikings offensive line was not very good. And the Vikings still decided not to bring him back. So I'm not super high on Riley Reiff, especially because he's on a 1-year deal. What happens after that? You're still gonna have a problem at tackle. So, granted, I do like Quentin Spain for them, the former Tennessee Titan. I think he's gonna be good for them. Trey Hopkins, I mean, I don't really know what he is at center yet. He's still a young player, but this is still not a very good offensive line. I mean, that's my thing with Ja'Marr Chase here at 5. Because they have T. Higgins. They have Tyler Boyd. They have a guy like Auden Tate who's, you know, hasn't really gotten a fair shot. You know, he's 6'5" guy. He's got some long speed. I think he's got some skills to bring to the table. But he probably won't get much playing time now with Ja'Marr Chase in the mix. So that's why I have Ja'Marr Chase as a C. It has nothing to do with him. You know, the talent is A level, A+ level. But I don't know, like they need offensive line. I'm not trying to see Joe Burrow running for his life again. And especially in this division with the Steelers, who I think have the best defense in football, with, you know, the Cleveland Browns, who have Myles Garrett, just brought in Jadeveon Clowney, and then the Baltimore Ravens, who know how to develop edge rushers, just took a guy in Odafe Owe in the 1st round. Like, you need offensive linemen. Whether it was Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, I had them taking Sewell. They should have taken offensive line here. And, you know, it showed in the 2nd round. Guys like Terrace Marshall were falling. You know, they could have traded up for a guy like Elijah Moore. You know, there were receivers in the later rounds that they could have taken. That's kind of where I'm at with the Ja'Marr Chase pick. Now, 6, the Dolphins took Jalen Waddle. This surprised me. I did not see this coming. I mean, again, Waddle's a great player. But this offensive line, again, I had them taking Rashawn Slater. This offensive line needs help. Let's pull up the Dolphins depth chart real quick. Because at first I did not like the Jalen Waddle pick. But they did take Liam Eichenberg. Now, Liam Eichenberg I had going in the first round. I thought the Ravens were going to take him instead of going edge rusher. So Eichenberg, I think, is a first-round tackle, and they got him in the second round with their second pick, I think. So that makes me feel a little bit better about the Jalen Waddle pick. Waddle, an explosive athlete. I think in this system, though, with Tua, granted, I think Tua could get the ball deep to him, but that's not going to be his purpose here. With Will Fuller there, I think Will Fuller's going to be the guy to stretch the defense. I think Waddle's going to be sort of a gadgety type player in this system. I think he's going to be running a lot of bubble screens, a lot of slants, a lot of, just trying to get the ball in his hands as much as possible and let him create yardage. So do you take a guy 6 overall for that when you could have got a guy like, a Jalen Darden later on that could fill that role? A guy like Dyami Brown that could fill that role. That's the thing. They could have taken Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell here, and then get in a receiver with the pick they took Liam Eichenberg. They did it the other way around. Clearly, my philosophy is very different from these NFL teams where I prioritize the offensive line first, and then I look for the playmakers later on. But then again, like Miami's had good playmakers in play already. Will Fuller, they just brought in. Devontae Parker, they traded for a guy like Lynn Bowden. They have guys like Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant, those gadgety guys already, Now, of course, Jalen Waddle is a way better player, way better prospect than those two. But if he's going to be running the same, if he's going to be in that same role, is it worth taking guys 6th overall for that role? I don't know. I would say no. So, again, this Waddle pick, the grade has nothing to do with the player. It has to do with the fit. It has to do with the scheme. And I'm not the biggest fan of this fit, even with the fact that they took a tackle in the second round because of all the things that I just mentioned. So, moving on to Penei Sewell. I mean, can we give a round of applause to the Detroit Lions, who had a great draft, and it started on day one with Penei Sewell, bringing in a guy like Dan Campbell to be your head coach. He stated right away, they want kneecap biters. Well, I can't think of a better kneecap biter than Penei Sewell in this draft. Like, this dude is, I think he's like 320, 330. He's a mammoth left tackle. He's a mauler. He fits everything that they want to do. Like, I didn't mock this because I didn't think he'd be there. And, great job by Detroit. Not overthinking it. Getting a guy for Dan Campbell who's, I believe was a tight ends coach, but he's teaching guys how to block. That's been his job as the tight ends coach. And that's going to be no different now. Being the head coach, getting a guy like Penei Sewell in here, this very quickly is becoming one of the better offensive lines in football. And for a team that, has a lot of work to do, this is smart. I talked about, I mocked them taking Patrick Surtain here, but I talked about building a strength. And Penei Sewell, they have Frank Ragnow, who just got a long-term extension, one of the best centers in football. They have Taylor Decker, who's, I say, a little bit more than serviceable left tackle. I think he's a good enough left tackle. They took Logan Stenberg in the I think it was the 5th round last year, who, there's been rave reviews from guys I respect talking about Logan Stenberg, how he's just a wall. You don't move him. Once he gets his hands on you, you're not moving him. And then Jonah Jackson's also a pretty good guard as well. So this offensive line is very, very promising. And, I'm not one to talk about fantasy so much so far on this channel, but DeAndre Swift is a guy everybody should be targeting in fantasy. This offensive line is great. The receivers that they have aren't, they did take Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle rounds. The receivers definitely could use some work. They have Jared Goff at quarterback. They're probably going to be running the football a lot. So, DeAndre Swift, target him in fantasy. I love this pick for Detroit. Moving on now to the Carolina Panthers, taking J.C. Horn, another pick that surprised me. Bringing in Sam Darnold, giving up a second-round pick for him, among other mid-round picks. For Sam Darnold, I expected them to go receiver or offensive lineman. Now, the two receivers were off the board. Penei Sewell was off the board. Maybe they would have taken Sewell. Maybe they didn't see Slater on the same level. I probably would have went Slater here, but I can't fault the J.C. Horn pick. J.C. Horn was the second best corner in this class. In my eyes, some people had him as the number one corner in this class. Very physical, press man corner. And they're building something on this defense now. Like, their entire draft last year was defense, and now they open up this draft with J.C. Horn. The Panthers are setting up to be the team of the future in this division, with Drew Brees retiring, Tom Brady, defying age, but he's going to retire at some point. And then Matt Ryan is 36 now, 35 or 36, so you question how much time he has left. This defense is very interesting now. With J.C. Horn in there, they have Dante Jackson, a guy I like a lot. They brought in A.J. Bouye, who I forgot about. I didn't even remember them doing that. And then Troy Pride Jr. in the slot with Jeremy Chin playing that safety, that hybrid linebacker role. They got guys like Brian Burns, guy like Yetur Gross-Matos, and Derek Brown on the defensive line. Shaq Thompson, longtime middle linebacker for them. This, they brought in Hassan Reddick too. I forgot about that. Denzel Perryman too. This is low-key a pretty nice defense, and they're all pretty young players that are going to be able to grow and create a bond with each other. I really like what they did in the first round. J.C. Horn, I'm going to give this an A. I've given a lot of A's so far, but I don't foresee giving a ton of A's. But this is just a good pick, a good scheme fit, and further building that defense with guys like Matt Rule and Joe Brady coaching up the offense. They have guys like Christian McCaffrey already, guys like DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They took Terrace Marshall in the second round. Are you kidding me? So they're fine with their offense. The offensive line's a bit iffy for me, but why not take one of the best defensive players in the class? And you'll get no argument from me. Now the Broncos took Patrick Surtain here. I hate this move. I'm giving it a D. And again, this has nothing to do with the player, Patrick Surtain. Surtain, in my eyes, was the best defensive player in this class. But they passed on Justin Fields, a team with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. Passed on Justin Fields. And I think that's going to bite them in the ass. I really do. I think it's going to haunt them for Justin Fields' entire career until they get a quarterback, prospect in the building that matches his caliber. This is going to haunt them for a very long time. In the offseason, they added guys like Kareem Jackson, guys like Kyle Fuller, guys like Ronald Darby. They have Bryce Callahan, one of the best slot corners in football right now. So where's Patrick Surtain going to play? Is he honestly, where's he going to play? Now, maybe he plays in the slot. Maybe they put him against tight ends. They do have to go up against Travis Kelce and Darren Waller 4 times. So maybe that's what they do, which is going to be very valuable. Don't get me wrong. But is that more valuable than Justin Fields, who has the potential to be your franchise quarterback? I really don't understand this move. I don't like this move. Now, Kyle Fuller is on a 1-year deal, and he's 30 or 31, so he's not a long-term solution. Patrick Surtain is going to probably fill in for him, which makes sense. Learning under Vic Fangio, learning under said Kyle Fuller, that's going to be very valuable for him. And I have no, I don't second guess that he's going to be great for them. In fact, he probably will be great for them. But is he going to be better than Justin Fields? I don't know. I don't think so. You look at Denver's roster, they are a quarterback away. Now, Drew Lock, maybe he is the guy. Maybe Drew Lock proves me wrong, balls out his third year, and is the guy for Denver. But I'm not going to count on that. You can call me a hater, but I'm not going to count on that. I think it should have been Justin Fields here. That's why I have it as a D. So, moving on, Devonta Smith to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is what I mocked. I give it an A. I love it. The best route running wide receiver in this class, in my eyes. He's going to be very good for not Justin Fields, for Jalen Hurts in the Philadelphia Eagles. Whereas they took Jalen Reagor last year as that deep, that long speed receiver. Devonta Smith is going to help Jalen Hurts in the short intermediate route. And he's got enough speed to take the top off of defense as well. So, not going to talk too much about it. Really like the pick. Good fit, good scheme fit. Is going to help Jalen Hurts for sure. It's going to help Jalen Hurts reach that potential. And with the Eagles' offensive line that I think is pretty good, I'm fine with taking the receiver this high because they took an offensive line here. Probably wouldn't play for them right away. So, and now we get to Justin Fields. Can I give it an A+? I mean, Chicago, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy absolutely had to know that if they didn't, they didn't show up this next upcoming season, they both were going to get fired. So this was a desperation move from Ryan Pace, but I love it. They move up from 20 to 11 with the Giants. Don't even really give up that much. It was a first-round pick next year and a couple other picks. But one first-round pick for a franchise quarterback, if Fields hits, that's nothing. That is absolutely nothing for a franchise quarterback. Now, I love Justin Fields, the player, but I do have some reservations with this landing spot because the Bears roster is good, for sure. He's got a number one receiver. He's got a running back in David Montgomery that I really like. They drafted Darnell Mooney, I think it was the 5th round last year, who's a burner. I think him and Justin Fields are going to find a connection pretty quickly. But my thing is, I don't know how to feel about Matt Nagy. Now, I know Nagy was, had to play with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles, so I don't wish that on my worst enemy. But, it was also a lot of Nagy's fault that those two weren't succeeding. The plays that he was drawing up at certain times felt confusing. It also felt like he abandoned the run a lot in certain times in his tenure over the last 2 years. So I just don't know what to make of Matt Nagy. And that's my issue with this landing spot for Fields, is what kind of coaching is he going to get? And the other thing is, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, they know their jobs are on the line. That's why they had to be so risky. That's why they had to go and make this move. Odds are they're going to start Justin Fields sooner than he probably should play. I think Fields is a great prospect, but he needs time to learn. Just like Trey Lance, which is why I love that landing spot so much for him, because he's going to get time to learn behind Jimmy G. There's no rush. There's going to be a lot of rush for Fields to get on the field sooner rather than later. And I worry that they put him out there too soon and he unravels. So I love the player. I love the decision to go up and get him from the Bears. But I am concerned that he might flounder here because they're going to push him too soon, I think. So it's kind of like a half thing with this landing spot, but I love it, and I'm gonna give Justin Fields the benefit of the doubt here. So now the Dallas Cowboys took Micah Parsons. Interesting pick here. They traded down 2 spots. For sure, they wanted one of the corners, and both of them went the 2 picks before their pick at 10. So they kind of got shafted. I thought they were going to take Rashawn Slater at 10 and then again at 12. With Tyron Smith, I've spoken about this before. With Tyron Smith kind of on his last legs here, it would have been a great idea to replace him with maybe the best pass blocking tackle in this class in Rashawn Slater. They didn't do that. They opted to fix the defense, and I can't really blame them. Their defense was the reason that they lost most of their games last year. I remember their game against Cleveland like it was yesterday. They gave up like 47 or 49 points to Cleveland, and Dak and them scored like 37. So that was the routine for Dallas last year. Their defense struggled a ton. So it makes sense to get Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive prospects in this class. I'm not sure. Well, he's probably going to get playing time right away, especially with a guy like Leighton Vander Esch, who's injury prone. I'll just say that. This is insurance for him, for sure. TFG, a fellow YouTuber, brought up a point where, Vander Esch, if he plays well, you're probably not going to be able to pay him since the Cowboys are cap strapped, so Micah Parsons can fill in for him. But more likely, he gets hurt, and Micah Parsons is going to be his replacement this year. So, I like it. I give it a B. He's got some lacking in coverage that might find itself a problem early in his career, especially in the Seattle, cover 3 defense under Dan Quinn. With a guy like Deion Jones he's had in Atlanta that prioritizes those coverage skills. I think it's going to be a learning curve for Parsons, but you bet on that raw talent. You bet on that extreme athleticism every time. And, I like this pick for Dallas. Now, the LA Chargers, one of my favorite moves of day one. A triple plus, if I can give it that. This is an S tier move by the Chargers, taking Rashawn Slater, who had no business being here at number 13. I thought he was going to be gone at 6. So you get him at 13. Bro, like I said about DeAndre Swift in fantasy, get Justin Herbert in fantasy, because this dude, their offensive line was one of the worst last year. And in one offseason, they bring in Corey Linsley, the best center in football last year. They bring in Matt Filer, pretty good guard from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brian Bulaga, they brought him in last year, but, he's constantly dealing with injury issues. If he can stay healthy, he's a damn good right tackle still. And then Rashawn Slater, a plug-and-play left tackle. This offensive line, in one season, completely shifted. And Herbert, the rookie leader in touchdowns, over 4,000 yards, rookie of the year with a bad offensive line. Now he's got this group in front of him. They still have Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler's coming back healthy. Mike Williams, the deep ball, the jump ball catcher. They have guys like Jalen Guyton. They drafted Josh Palmer in the 3rd round. This is how you surround a young quarterback with talent. Take notes, Cincinnati. This is an awesome spot for Rashawn Slater. I'm putting money on the Chargers to make the playoffs next season. Might even put a couple bucks down that they make the Super Bowl. This is a stacked roster, especially when you look at the defense. Bringing in Brandon Staley to run that cover 3, cover 4 defense that he ran with the Rams last year, that had them as one of the best units in football. I cannot wait to see how this goes. I also think Brandon Staley is going to help Justin Herbert's development, because not only, sure, he's a defensive coordinator, but this offense that the Chargers are going to be running under Joe Lombardi is going to be running some of that Shanny type scheme that offense that Sean McVay ran in LA, his own variation of it. Brandon Staley was going up against that defense that offense every single day in practice. So he's going to be able to point Justin Herbert in the right direction, both on offense and on defense. What do I mean by that? He's going to tell Herbert, hey, the cornerback is going to be expecting this. The linebacker might be in this position here, that position there. He's going to be able to help Justin Herbert's development from both sides of the football. And I cannot wait to watch the LA Chargers this year. I'm all aboard the hype train for the Chargers. You know, the one thing that could stop them is health, which has stopped them in the last couple seasons. That it always feels like they have 1, 2, 3, 4 major injuries that just derails the whole team. That's the only thing that could stop them this year is health. Otherwise, they're, dare I say, a Super Bowl contender. I love this roster. I love this move getting Rashawn Slater. One of my favorite picks of the first day of the draft. Just bravo. Bravo, Tom Telesco. Maybe proven to be one of my favorite GMs. Just a great job. I love what he's done this offseason. Now, the Jets, after they took Zach Wilson, which, great move, they trade up for Elijah Vera Tucker. And for some reason, it's Solomon Vera Tucker. Maybe that's his real name. I don't know. But they move up for Elijah Vera Tucker here. Now, I've seen both sides of this. Some people really like this move. Some people really hate it, calling it maybe the worst trade of the last 5 years. I won't go that far. I actually like this move. I'm never going to be upset at a team taking an offensive lineman trying to protect the quarterback. The Jets kind of did what I probably would have done. Now, I don't know if I would have taken Elijah Vera Tucker here. I probably would have taken a guy like Christian Darrisaw. So this is not an A pick for me. But they get the offensive lineman. And then in the second round, they get Elijah Moore. They get the receiver. That's how you do it, in my eyes. You take the stalwart lineman, and then you take the receiver. Now, Elijah Vera Tucker is going to a plug-and-play left guard playing next to Mekhi Becton. I mean, two maulers, two mammoths. That's going to help the run game. That's going to help Zach Wilson. I'm going to give it a B because, again, I would have taken Christian Darrisaw here. If you're going to trade up, I go with the tackle. But Elijah Vera Tucker, consensus, the best guard in this class. You get him here at 14. I'm not gonna kill it. I like it, in fact, and very interested to see what Zach Wilson does his rookie year because I know Sam Darnold's mad because the Jets have done everything, given Wilson everything to succeed. You know, adding Corey Davis. They already drafted Denzel Mims last year. They have Jameson Crowder. They drafted Elijah Moore. Mekhi Becton last year. They have Elijah Vera Tucker now. Building this offensive line. They took a running back in Michael Carter, who I really like. I think he's probably going to be the number one running back sooner rather than later for them. Another fantasy target. I love it. I love what they've done to surround Zach Wilson with talent. And I think Zach Wilson, one of the best landing spots out of any of these 5 rookie quarterbacks that went in the first round. Normally you wouldn't say that about the Jets, but with Robert Saleh bringing in that 49er, that Shanny type scheme, and being a good defensive mind, he's going to have that defense ready. He's going to have that defense playing well. And then their GM, I think it's Joe Douglas, used to be with the Eagles. He's done a great job. So I love this. I love this for Zach Wilson. I think he's going to be, he might be my pick for Rookie of the Year. So great job by the Jets. Now the Patriots take Michael Jones here. I'll give it an A. I like it a lot. I think Mac Jones was super disrespected in this draft build-up. And a lot of it is the media's fault for saying that he was going to go 3 to the 49ers. Never thought that was going to happen. Had no business going 3rd overall to the 49ers. So in that case, I guess you can laugh at it. But Mac Jones is still a good quarterback prospect. He's still a first-round talent in my eyes. He's got a stronger arm than Tua did, and Tua went 5th overall. I think he's a better maneuverer, if that's a word, of the pocket than Tua is. Now, Tua obviously the better athlete, but I think Mac Jones has better pocket awareness, better pocket presence than Tua. And I love this landing spot because, again, everything that the Patriots have done in free agency has been surrounding Cam, has been with the idea that Cam is going to be their quarterback, which tells me Mac Jones is probably not going to get on the field his rookie season, but that's good. I know everybody was saying, "Oh, Mac Jones, he's the most pro-ready quarterback. Oh, he's ready to start day one." Well, Mac Jones has the same amount of starts that Trey Lance did, so I think Mac Jones is going to be, I think sitting is going to help him a lot, especially because this what's the Patriots offensive coordinator's name? McDaniels. What's his name? First name. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on it. Let me look it up. McDaniels. Patriots. Josh McDaniels. Yeah. So this Josh McDaniels system is tough to learn. There's a lot of nuance, which is why I think Cam Newton's going to be better in his second year. There's no COVID. There's no shortened off season. He's going to have the full time to learn that playbook, especially after playing it his first season. I think Cam's going to be much better this year. Well, Mac Jones is going to get time to sit, get time to digest that playbook, be able to learn from, one of the best in Cam Newton, who you might say, oh, he's not one of the best now, but this is a former number one overall pick, and he's done some great things in his career. So I like this fit. Think Mac is going to be very good for the Patriots. One of the best landing spots again, probably the third best landing spot, in my eyes, for these rookie quarterbacks. So great job. Now the Cardinals take Zaven Collins here. This shocked me. Now I did have them going Jalen Waddle in my mock draft. Obviously Waddle's long gone here, so I guess it makes sense. Zaven Collins is going to pair pretty nicely with Isaiah Simmons, who they took last year. Collins more of that traditional, middle linebacker, that coverage middle linebacker, whereas Simmons is that rangy type, safety hybrid backer you can do a lot of different things with. I think these two are going to really complement each other, especially because you added J.J. Watt. You're getting Chandler Jones back from injury. This front seven is pretty damn good. I think this defense is going to take another step up. They still need corners, though. I would have liked to see them go corner here. Maybe a guy like Caleb Farley. I guess the injury concerns were just a bit too much for them. I'm not super high on this pick, but I like it. I'm going to give it a C. I think it's a decent pick. I think it's a solid pick. I think Collins is going to be a good player for them. Now the Vikings, the Vegas Raiders took Alex Leatherwood here at pick 17. I mean, it's more of the same with the Raiders, right? They love the 4-year big programmed player, and that's what Alex Leatherwood is. He went to Alabama, 4-year starter. But he's got a lot of technique issues. Now, the Raiders did clean up Colton Miller, who they took, I think, 11th overall. Colton Miller had a lot of technique issues, a lot of flaws, and they got him right. So much so that they signed him to a 3-year extension, and he's been a very good left tackle for them. So they could very well do the same with Alex Leatherwood, who's got great traits, who's a physical marvel, but he's not ready to play right away. And my thing is, well, you take a guy 17 who's not ready to play right away. Why didn't you take Christian Darrisaw? Why didn't you take Tevin Jenkins? Two guys who have much better technique and are ready to play day one and still have, the ceiling to develop further. So I'm going to give this a D. While I do think Leatherwood is in a position to succeed, given the Raiders' track record with Colton Miller, why? You could have taken Darrisaw, you could have taken Jenkins. I probably would have taken one of those two. Not super high on this pick. Maybe the worst pick of the first round. And, of course, it's the Raiders. The team that took Cleveland Ferrell, the team that took John Abrams, the team that took Josh Jacobs, who, was good, but first round for him, I don't know. So the team that took Damon Arnett, they have a track record for this. Now the Miami Dolphins took Jaelan Phillips. Love this pick. Phillips, a guy who I thought, and plenty other people thought was the number one edge rusher in this class, gets to learn from Brian Flores. I mean, can you think of a better landing spot? Like, I was thinking Cleveland would have been great for him. I was thinking the Ravens. I was thinking I had him going to Indianapolis. He doesn't get there. He goes to Miami at pick 18. Great fit, scheme fit. I think he's going to be an alpha, for a team that has a really good defense but is lacking some of those elite players. They have a couple in the secondary, but really nobody in the front seven, and Jaelan Phillips can be that guy, can be that number one edge rusher, that go-to guy that you say, hey, I need a play, I need a sack, go get us one. That's Jaelan Phillips. And if the medicals check out, this could be the seal of the draft. So Washington takes Jamin Davis. I was surprised by this. I would have taken Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah here. Now, it was revealed the day after the draft, or after the entire draft that concluded, that he had a heart issue. So I'm assuming that's why he didn't go here. That's why he dropped out of the first round. Jamin Davis, I think he's a bit raw, to be honest, but this is a good fit under Ron Rivera, who's got a long track record of developing linebackers here. Washington has drafted very well since Rivera came in here. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give it a B here. Probably not what I would have done, but, given Rivera, given the defensive staff that they have, given the talent that they have on defense, I think Davis is going to be, more likely than not, a very good player for them. Now, the Giants take Kadarius Toney here. Another pick that shocked me. I wanted the Giants to stay at 11 and take Tevin Jenkins in my mock. But that was because, I didn't think Rashawn Slater was going to be there. Rashawn Slater fell to 11, and I was like, please take him. Well, they didn't. Granted, they did trade down. They got a future first-round pick. They could do a lot of things with that. They got a future third-round pick as well. So, I'm not so upset. And then Kadarius Toney is a player that they don't have on the roster. Other than except maybe Saquon Barkley, they both have very similar contact balance, where it's like freakish that they don't go down on tackles that most people will go down by. It's very freaky. Toney provides some juice in the passing game. Of course, Saquon's a running back. So Toney, very different from Sterling Shepard, from Darius Slayton, from Kenny Galladay. He's going to be that guy you give end arounds to, that guy you throw bubble screens to, slants, underneath routes, crossers. Get him in open space and just watch him fly. He is so fast. He's so explosive. And he still has room for improvement. So, I didn't like it at first. Maybe would have given it a C at first, but I've kind of come around and I'm going to give it a B. I think he's a player that they need. I think he's going to help Daniel Jones. And again, Daniel Jones has so much talent around him. Yes, that offensive line is still a massive question mark, which is why I would have loved to see them go Slater. But they got young guys in-house. Maybe, maybe they believe in them. We'll see what they do. But Daniel Jones has no excuses. This talent, if everybody stays healthy, he's got to show out. And the Giants got to make the playoffs. So, now the Colts take Kwity Paye here. I like it. I'll give it a B. Kwity Paye's a good player. I thought they should have went Darisaw here, or Tevin Jenkins here, given that left tackle is an eyesore. They still haven't addressed it. A week after the draft, they still have not addressed it. So I don't know what really Indy's doing, given how Carson Wentz unraveled because the offensive line was so bad in Philadelphia. All the line injuries that they had to deal with last year makes. I'm kind of confused why they didn't take a left tackle here, but Kwity Paye is a good player. I don't know if he's going to be an elite player, which is why, again, I probably take the tackle over a good, not great player in Kwity Paye. But Kwity Paye's still young. He's got tons of room for development. Under a guy like Matt Eberflus, I did have them taking Jalen Phillips here, so being able to play alongside DeForest Buckner, learning from Matt Eberflus, I think this is a very good fit for Kwity Paye, and we'll see what he becomes. Now, the Titans take Caleb Farley, another pick that I predicted right, one of the few. My favorite corner in this class. I think he fits perfectly with this Matt Vrabel, Belichickian type scheme that they run. Elite athlete, maybe the fastest corner in this class. It's just the medicals. Can he stay healthy? Is the back injury too much? That's the thing. If he's healthy, I think he's going to ball out. And we saw, I'm not surprised the Titans bet on a guy with injury concerns because they did the same thing with Jeffrey Simmons a couple years ago. Now, I know Simmons just tore his ACL, very different from lingering back injuries, but we've seen them do this before, which made me comfortable in saying, okay, they can take Caleb Farley here, and they can bet on the player and bet on themselves. And now, I think, they had a ton of needs. They could have went receiver here. They could have went offensive line here. They took Dylan Raduns in the second round, which he's a plug-and-play right tackle. That's just a phenomenal job by John Robinson. Again, one of my favorite GMs in the NFL. To take Caleb Farley here after losing a ton of secondary help and you get the tackle in the second round. Great job by the Titans. Now, Christian Darrisaw, I do have to say, Rick Spielman is my favorite GM in the NFL. I mean, they traded down from 14 to 23 and got a guy in Christian Darrisaw that I didn't even think they could get at 14. In my what I would do mock draft, I think I had Darrisaw going to the Chargers, a pick before them. So the fact that he was there at 14, I was like, amazing, take him. Well, no, they traded down. They got 2 third-round picks from the Jets. So those are high third-round picks. And they still get Christian Darrisaw. Just classic. Amazing job by the Vikings. The team that got Justin Jefferson last year, which was, by all accounts, to steal the draft. Very well, they could have done the same thing this year with Christian Darrisaw. I mean, the Vikings' offensive line last year was a problem, a big problem. Well, you get Christian Darrisaw here to plug and play left tackle. You get Wyatt Davis in the third round, one of those picks from the Jets, I think it was. He's a plug and play guard. You have Ezra Cleveland. You have Garrett Bradbury. All of a sudden, the offensive line goes from being one of the weakest to a strength of the football team. You think Dalvin Cook was doing backflips when they took Christian Darrisaw? I mean, just bravo. Amazing job by the Vikings. This is an S-tier pick. I can only give it an A because that's what they're giving to me, but S-tier pick by the Vikings. Shout out Rick Spielman, man. My favorite GM in the league. Does it again. Now, the Steelers took Najee Harris. At first, I was not a fan of this pick. I thought they should have went offensive line. But the Steelers are one of those teams like the Packers, like the Ravens, they have a good track record of developing offensive linemen. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. Najee Harris, very clearly, in my eyes, the best running back in this class. And really the only one in this draft with the skill set, the power running, he fits Pittsburgh to a T. I know Javonte Williams sort of has that same type of running style, but the Denver Broncos traded up early in the second round to take him. So the Steelers had no shot of getting him if they missed out on Najee Harris. So that's why I'm going to give it a B here. Again, probably I would have went offensive line, but I got the process. Najee Harris is a beast. I think he's going to help them on day one. A fantasy target of mine. I love Najee Harris. I think he's going to ball out for the Steelers. A team that, with Big Ben on his last legs, they're not going to uncork some insane passing game. They need a Zeke Elliott type running back. They need a Christian McCaffrey type. They need that number one dog running back, and that's Najee Harris. Now the Jaguars take Travis Etienne. Now again, at first I did not like this pick at all. If this was day one, after the draft, I probably would have given it an F. But I've thought about it more. Sure, they have James Robinson, but James Robinson and Travis Etienne are very different running backs. Sure, they're the same position, but they're very different players. James Robinson is that in between the tackles, that pounder, that guy who will get a consistent 10 yards, 15 yards, but he doesn't break away. He doesn't have that speed. Travis Etienne is a guy who can burn defenses. And I know Robinson isn't a bad receiver, but Etienne is a much better receiver. So they're going to run different roles. Now, I did see Urban Meyer say that he's a third round, not third round, but a third down back. He's going to be a third down back for them. No. You don't take a player 25th overall to just come in on third downs. He's going to split with James Robinson, as he should. So, again, they have bigger needs, but I'm not going to destroy them for making this move. He also has familiarity with Trevor Lawrence, who they took first overall, obviously, so that's going to help him as well. They have receivers on the outside already. Granted, I did want them to take Christian Bateman here, or Rashad Bateman. Excuse me, I don't know where Christian came from. Rashad Bateman here, but I get it. You get Trevor Lawrence's guy, the guy he's played with over the last couple of years, so it makes sense to me. Again, not what I would have done, but I'm not going to hate the pick. Now, the Browns take Greg Newsome here. I'm going to give it an A. The secondary for Cleveland last year was the biggest issue of the team, and in one offseason, seems like they fixed it. Obviously, they have Denzel Ward, the number one corner. You get Greg Newsome in here to play, number two. They paid Troy Hill from the Rams to play in the slot. They brought in John Johnson, that, closer to the line, box type safety. And then they have Grant Delpit coming back from an Achilles injury that happened early in the year. Hopefully he can come back, make a full recovery, and be that, that deep field safety for them. And with that, this secondary is completely reshaped, which was the biggest, sieve of that team. The Browns maybe have the best roster in football, maybe even better than Tampa, that won the Super Bowl last year. The Browns are legit Super Bowl contenders. I'm definitely putting money down on them to, make the Super Bowl. I think it comes down to Baker Mayfield. If Baker balls out, I can see them beating the Chiefs. I can see them beating the Bills. I can see them beating the Ravens. I could see them in the Super Bowl. It's all down to Baker Mayfield. What do you got, Baker? Love this move for Cleveland. Now, the Ravens take Rashad Bateman here. I like it. I want to see the Ravens put the ball in Lamar's hands more, open up the offense a little more. It feels like they're still just shying away a little bit from letting Lamar loose from a passing perspective. And Rashad Bateman is going to help them do that. Boundary receiver, a guy who definitely has the long speed to take the top off the defense, but with a guy like Hollywood Brown already there, I don't think that's going to be his main, objective. He's going to be a guy, he can run block, which is of course good for the scheme, but he's going to help Lamar in the intermediate, the short routes. He's a good route runner. He's an all-around good receiver, and Lamar has been asking for receivers. The Ravens faithful have been asking for receivers for Lamar, and this is a number one type guy for them. So I love it. I'm gonna give it an A. Now the Saints take Peyton Turner here. Very interesting, because a guy in Brett Coleman, who I really like, sees this as Cam Jordan 2.0. He's really high on Peyton Turner. But other guys I've watched and listened to and have said that Peyton Turner is, had no business going in the first round. So it's very wishy-washy with Peyton Turner. I honestly don't know much about Peyton Turner. I didn't see him as a first-round pick. I'm going to give it a C just by default. I didn't know much about him, I'll be honest. I guess we'll just have to see. Now, if he is, a lot of people have said he's Cam Jordan. Well, what better place to go than the Saints, where you can literally learn from the dude that people think you can become. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give the Saints the benefit of the doubt. Mickey Loomis, one of the better GMs in the league. Sean Payton, these guys, they've been doing this for a long time. So the draft is not foolproof by any means, but these guys, more often than not, know what they're doing. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on Peyton Turner. But I'm going to give it a C just because I don't really know much about him. I'll be honest. So moving on to the Packers, they take Eric Stokes. Now, I did say the Packers needed to take a corner and a receiver early in this draft class. Eric Stokes was not the corner I was expecting. So I'm going to give it a C here. With Asante Samuel Jr. on the board, the Packers brought in Joe Barry, I think his name is, the linebackers coach for the Rams, who was coaching under Brandon Staley. So he wants to run that type of defense, that cover 3, cover 4 defense. Asante Samuel is perfect for that defense. You don't believe me? Well, Brandon Staley literally took him in the second round because he thinks he's perfect for that defense. That was the play here. I think it should have been Asante Samuel. I'm not high on Stokes now. Don't get me wrong. I think Stokes can be a great player for them, but I don't think he's going to be great right away. I think he's got plenty of development to do. He's kind of stiff. He's a great athlete, or at least great straight line speed, but he's kind of stiff. I don't know, man. I would have went Asante Samuel. That's all I'm going to say. Now, he can be good for them, but I don't think it's going to be right away. I think it's going to take a couple of years for him to reach his full potential. And with Aaron Rodgers already upset that they're, planning for the future rather than in win now mode, Eric Stokes doesn't really do much for you in win now mode for Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Now, the Bills take Gregory Rousseau. It's very clear that the Bills are trying to find that big body, power rushing defensive end to take over for Jerry Hughes. They drafted AJ Epinesa last year. They took I think his name is Terrell Basham in the second round. These guys who are all similarly built, they're taking swings at all these guys, hoping one lands. And I don't really have a problem with that. I think Gregory Rousseau, I had him going to Tampa, pick 32. So this is about where I saw him going. Being able to learn under Sean McDermott, under Jerry Hughes, is going to benefit him. I don't think he's going to be ready right away, but the Bills, they're not. I know they're in win now mode, but they have time. They have time to develop a guy like this and potentially find that elite playmaker for them on the edge. And Gregory Rousseau has some elite traits to him, so I'm going to give this an A. I think it's a good landing spot for him. I think he's going to be able to learn and develop and find his true potential. And the same thing can be said for Odafe Oweh. I give this pick an A. I know the player may not be an A, but you talk about a landing spot to develop and learn from the best. Well, the Baltimore Ravens have been one of the best franchises in the last decade. So I love this fit. I think he's going to be able to come in, going to be able to learn, going to be able to reach that potential here. And Oweh maybe has the highest ceiling of any defensive end in this class. That's how good, that's how traitsy Odafe Oweh is. And going to the Ravens, I like it. Now, the Bucks took Joe Tryon. Again, a guy that I don't really know. But I'm going to give it a B, unlike Peyton Turner, because of the landing spot. You're learning under, I had them taking Gregory Rousseau, like I said. So you're learning under Todd Bowles, arguably, maybe not even arguably, the best defensive coordinator in this class. You're learning from that guy. Shaq Barrett, JPP, two guys who, well, JPP more so, in the latter stage of his career. You get to learn from those two. There's no rush to play right away. You're going to be able to rotate in with these guys. I think this is the best landing spot for any edge rusher because, well, obviously, they're the Super Bowl champions, but you're not asked to play right away. You're going to be able to learn from two of the best in the league and reach that potential, which, can't be said for Oweh because there's not a guy like Barrett or JPP with the Ravens that he can learn from. Gregory Rousseau, same kind of thing. I know Jerry Hughes is there, but he's older. He's on the decline. These guys are in the prime of their careers and just coming off a Super Bowl. So I like the fit here. That's my thing. That's my breakdown here. My favorite picks, looking back at it real quickly, were Penei Sewell to the Lions. I love Trey Lance to the 49ers. Justin Fields to Chicago. Rashawn Slater might be my first or second favorite. Mac Jones to the Pats. I like Caleb Farley to the Titans. Christian Darrisaw might be my favorite one. I love that pick, especially considering they traded down to get him and still got him. I like Najee Harris to Pittsburgh. So that's my breakdown of the class, man. Make sure you like the video, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section what you guys would have done if you liked what your teams did, and what you thought of the draft as a whole, man. And who you think is going to make the playoffs. That might be my next video, is playoff predictions. But yeah, that's it, man. Appreciate the time, appreciate the support, appreciate the love, and I'll be back soon. Take it easy.